This is Badass Billy Gunn, 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hardcore Champion, and you're listening to IcoPod. You gotta hear this. And if you're not listening to this, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
And we're back with episode 87 of IcoPod. I'm Bob Conley Jr. And with me, as always, is Austin Skinner. Austin, how you doing this week in Orlando?
I am riding the high that we experienced last week, and I'm straight edge, so that sentence doesn't come out of my mouth too often. What a fucking week. And then you see the featured match for this week. And you're brought back to reality. Isn't that funny how life works? See, they bring you up, and then they pull the rug right out from under you. In all seriousness, I'm hoping that this week is palatable compared to last week. I know it's not going to be nearly as good because last week was like a phenomena. So we'll see how this week goes. I'm staying hopeful. And you know what, man? Fucking SummerSlam is right around the corner. And I am probably overexcited for not only SummerSlam, but the show leading up to it. I'm pretty excited for as well. So we'll see how that goes. The march to the end of the year is coming very quick, like we touched on last week. And to think that we're going to be going into 1995 very soon is so bizarre. Like, we started this thing saying, okay, let's get through 93, see what happens. We hit end of 93. We're like, damn, that was easy. Going into 94, we did the logo change. We switched everything over. It's like, okay, we'll see where 94 goes, you know. I think 94 is going even quicker than 1993 did. So it's crazy to me that week after week, despite the mileage in between, and me wanting to kill you with some of the syndication that you fucking send me at midnight on fucking Thursday.
That's fine.
We're staying pretty consistent, and we got a nice little audience. So I'm all happy. I'm all smiles. So bring on this week of wrestling action.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to even more years of IcoPod. Hopefully you guys will continue to join us each and every Monday and sometimes Thursday. But let's get right into episode 87 this week. Some observer notes. There's only 2, similar to last week. Not a whole lot of behind-the-scenes shenanigans going on. I'm assuming after SummerSlam there might be quite a bit.
Yeah.
But Bob Backlund is really dedicating himself to this new heel turn to a point where he will not sign autographs, nor will he talk to any fans. So he is really shunning them and driving home that he is a bad guy at this point.
Also, fun fact about Bob Backlund, episode 87 also matches the age of Bob Backlund at this time in 94. So we're just, it's all about Bob.
Bob Backlund, not me.
No, not you. No. Not even close.
Not even remotely close.
No.
Last week's edition of Raw, which featured Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, and then also a pretty good Alundra Blaze Bull Nakano match, got a 3.3 rating, so down a little bit from the July 25th, but still relatively strong show
for sure.
in rating. I'm getting blown up right now by Hogan 98 Money because he watched WCW Sin as his watch along from April 2000 till the end.
Yeah.
And he just found out that Road Warrior Animal was the guy under the ski mask, and he's literally like, I'm speechless right now. He doesn't know what to say.
I almost spoiled it for him the other day because I thought he was joking in the fact that he didn't know.
Yeah, I thought I could have sworn I've seen the footage with him before.
That's what I thought. So I just thought it was really funny, and I was like, dude, I almost wanted to be like, it's fucking Animal, right?
Yeah.
But that's hilarious. So
I'm really liking his genuine reaction to it. It's honestly priceless. Let's go to some house show notes. There's 2 of them, and they took place on the same day. The first one is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the Civic Center on August 5th, 1994, and the attendance was 4,000 fans. The card featured the following matches. Sparky Plug in singles action against Quebecer Pierre. Adam Bomb battling Quang. Jerry Lawler squaring off against Duke Drosy. The Smoking Guns in tag team action against Well Done. WWF Intercontinental Champion Diesel defending against Razor Ramon. Tatanka in singles action against IRS in a strap match. Yokozuna squaring off against Mabel. And the main event saw WWF World Champion Bret Hart defending against Owen Hart.
Kind of a similar undercard to last week's house show that I said I'd probably get decent seats for. This one's almost just as intriguing because I can only imagine what an IRS Tatanka strap match is. And then, of course, you have Yokozuna taking on, who was it, Bam Bam Bigelow or Mabel?
Yokozuna?
Yeah.
Is taking on Mabel.
So you have that, which is like the battle of the fucking behemoths. So maybe that's something for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go to this one, but I am going to get the nosebleeds for this show.
You know what? The fact that it's the Guns against like Well Done,
Yeah,
instead of a stronger team, makes
does that
me
sink
feel
it
like
for you?
I think so. Like Lawler Drosy isn't great.
No.
Bomb and Quang is whatever.
Yeah.
Like you don't even get 1, 2, 3 kid on this one.
Right.
And it's not a marathon match with Brett and Owen. It's a regular match, a strap match.
That's kind of
Tatanka IRS strap match might be pretty fucking bad too.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the fact that it's not a marathon match is kind of helping me buy a ticket. I'm gonna be honest.
It might be better. Yeah, I could see that.
So,
did I go to the 2CW show with you where it was promoted as a 60-minute Iron Man match between Johnny Gargano and Jason Axe? Did I go to that?
That doesn't sound familiar at all, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay, because like that was a pretty big show. Because I think like Tajiri was on that show. Did you not see Tajiri in Syracuse?
Yeah, I must have gone because I saw Tajiri.
Right. So I remember like being amped for the show, and then the one match was Jason Axe, who in hindsight is not a bad performer, and I don't want to be taken that way. But with Johnny Gargano in a 60-minute Iron Man match, would have been. Luckily, it went like 12 minutes, and he got disqualified 17,000 times to lose the match.
Oh yeah.
That's what that was. So I can see how like a marathon match, not maybe appealing to everyone.
No,
no matter the talent involved. Let's go to North Charleston, South Carolina, also on August 5th, 1994, with an estimated crowd of 1,500. The card featured the following matches: Jeff Jarrett in singles action against Doink the Clown. WWF Tag Team Champions, the Head Shrinkers, defending against Bam Bam Bigelow and Bastion Booger.
Oh.
Bull Nakano squaring off against Heidi Lee Morgan, who was a substitute for the women's champion, Alundra Blaze. Abe Knuckleball Schwartz squaring off against PJ Walker. The Bushwhackers squaring off against the Executioners. Nikolai Volkov in singles action against Virgil. And the main event was Lex Luger battling Crush in a stretcher match.
I'm going to go with a big fuck no.
Yeah, I am not going to that show under any circumstance. Even if you were to pay for my ticket, probably going to skip it.
That's highway robbery. No.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Not going to that.
I don't think there's literally anything on that show I'd want to see.
No.
Not even one.
I'd go to see Abe Knuckleball Schwartz.
And PJ Walker.
Yeah, it's fucking barn burner.
Yeah. Let's go right into some syndication. This is something that Austin did not see, but I will just describe it because it's just a promo. On August 6th, the edition of Superstars, Lex Luger was on the Heartbreak Hotel because that's the only show that he goes on. Michaels is happy that Luger has finally seen the light. Luger tells Sean that no one owns him, and Michaels is nodding as if it's a joke. Sean gets Luger to admit that he has met with Ted DiBiase. Luger also admits that Ted offered him a deal. Michaels wants to know how much money Luger was offered. Sean mentions the new watch and car that Luger has recently gotten. Lex defends himself, saying it's none of Sean's business. Doesn't really sound like defending yourself when you're just saying it's none of your business.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's defending myself. Mind your business. Luger has accepted the challenge issued by Tatanka for SummerSlam, and he's going to prove that there was not a price that could buy him. I don't think either one of us have really enjoyed the feud between Luger and Tatanka, but there's just another layer to it.
Well, you know what keeps pissing me off is that they keep doing the fucking Heartbreak Hotel not on Raw. Like, can we switch to Heartbreak Hotel? Because that feels way more important to feuds than fucking King's Court. Can we put King's Court on fucking Superstars and like stop doing that?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that either, to be honest with you.
Because it's way better. Way better.
And I think Sean at this point is a better talker than Jerry anyway.
For sure. For sure.
Let's go to our featured match of the evening for syndication. Jeff Jarrett squared off against 1-2-3 Kid on the August 6th edition of Superstars. And this is another rematch between Jarrett and Kid from just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Kid surprises Jarrett by coming into the ring through the crowd and opens the match with a crossbody for a near fall. He kicks Jeff to the floor and takes Jarrett out with a slingshot crossbody to the floor. Jarrett stops Kid by ramming him into the ring steps, but Kid backdrops Jarrett to the floor. Or on the floor. Jeff drops Kid throat first across the guard railing. Kid drop kicks Jarrett in the corner and gets a 2 count. Jeff counters a pile driver with a backdrop, but Kid nearly rolls Jeff up for a win. They both go down after Kid delivered a clothesline, and he gets a 2 count. Jarrett kicks Kid on the chest, but misses a middle rope fist drop. Jarrett misses an elbow drop coming off the ropes. Kid counters a suplex attempt with an inside cradle, but can't keep Jeff down long enough. Jeff puts a sleeper hold on Kid and looks to get a submission out of this. Kid ducks under a clothesline, but is rammed into a corner by Jarrett. Kid atomic drops Jarrett and hammers away on him with right hands. Jeff shoves Kid down, and he rolls Kid up with his feet on the ropes to win the match. After the match, a second referee comes out to tell the referee what happened, but the decision is not reversed. Jarrett runs away from the ring to keep his victory. So, quite a few things that I don't think I like about it. But what did you think of this match between Jarrett and 1-2-3 Kid Austin?
First of all, the thing I noticed most was there was definitely some heat to this match. The crowd was up for it. Going nuts for 1-2-3 Kid on kind of his offense, even when the action spills to the outside. A lot of aggression from both of these guys. Again, kind of like the women last week on Raw. These guys felt like they were out here to prove something. So I was into it. We got big 1-2-3 Kid chants, so he's still just as over as he has been. And of course, we get the leverage pin with the ropes as Boo's reined in, which tells me maybe we're going to get another match out of these two. To be honest, I'm down for that. I kind of hope they get maybe an undercard match on SummerSlam. I think that would be kind of cool, especially because it means another good match is going to be on SummerSlam. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was short, but yeah, I didn't have really too much to complain about.
It's a good match, but I don't know how I feel about 1-2-3 Kid taking pinfalls.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know Jarrett cheated.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as maybe these guys appear on SummerSlam and have a meaningful match, I can understand it. And as long as 1-2-3 Kid wins in that scenario, I get that.
Yeah.
But after having a classic match with Bret Hart just a couple weeks ago on Raw, to now losing to Jeff Jarrett, no matter the shenanigans, to me is really not allowing him to continue momentum.
That is a very fair point that I didn't even really connect. And I have to agree with you. That is true because really Jeff Jarrett's not even close to that level.
No.
I think Kid's maybe a step or two above Jeff Jarrett at this point. Yeah. So I think that's a fair point to make. Although they do have good chemistry, I think I agree with you.
I do think, though, if Jarrett and Kid were to be added to SummerSlam, significantly helps that card.
Yes, I agree. I'm really hoping for that.
You have Bret Owen in a cage, Razor and Diesel for the IC strap, and then having Kid Jarrett as your go-to, going to be solid, especially, if they were to do, Nakano and Blaze as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can maybe deal with the Taker versus Taker and
right.
other bullshit. So
Right.
we'll see what is added to SummerSlam in the next week or two, because we're getting pretty damn close to it. But let's get right into the August 8th, 1994 edition of Monday Night Raw from Youngstown, Ohio, which is taped now. And this threw me for a loop, and I had to do a double take to make sure I was watching the right program. But the Raw opening video wasn't your traditional Raw opening video.
Yeah.
I didn't take a note of it, but it was like in a hospital or something, and it was on like the screen, if I'm remembering correctly. It was just so bizarre. It caught me off guard.
Yeah, so I broke it down a little bit here as far as like the visuals. So basically what we're seeing here is like surgeons staring down at a patient. We're in the perspective of the patient, so they're staring over us. And they're performing some surgery, and they're like, oh, we got to hurry up. We got to hurry up. And you assume it's because they're losing the patient, maybe. But no, in fact, it's almost 9 p.m. So instead of like keeping the heart monitor on the computer screen, they switch it over to Raw. Pause the surgery and just watch Raw. As like from the patient perspective, you see them like over in the corner watching the TV. So it's super weird. There's no context to it at all. And again, I think this is one of the misfires. Their like way of promoting Raw is really confusing lately. Between the mob hit thing and like the let's not do surgery and watch Raw. I don't know. It's I'm not really sure what they're going for. But yeah, it was really a weird way to open the show, because then they went right into the opening video after that. So usually you might get like a promo or like a hype package. No, we got like a weird surgeon vignette. So I totally agree with you. It was very weird.
It felt like something you would see later on in the show as a way to promote, like the mob hit that you mentioned. It was just like a weird way to start the show. I could see maybe how it would be a little off-putting to some viewers, but
sure,
they went with it. We then go to the arena where Vince McMahon and Randy Savage welcome us to the show. Savage mentions that Lex Luger is in the house, while Tatanka will be teaming with Doink to wrestle IRS and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Blech.
Jerry Lawler will have Owen Hart and Bruce Hart King's Court.
Fuck,
whenever Bruce is around, you're in for some entertainment.
God damn it.
The opening contest is the Undertaker, and I use quotations there, taking on Mike Bell. At least that's what I have written down. I don't know if it really looked like Mike Bell, but I wrote it.
I don't know.
Undertaker mostly just chokes Bell and really basically nothing before hitting a choke slam to win the match. After the match, Ted DiBiase gets a body bag and they put him into it. And then right after that, we get a video of Leslie Nielsen looking for the real Undertaker in a fairly brief video. So what did you think of the whole enhancement match here and the video with Leslie?
A couple things here. First of all, Undertaker's music hits, the crowd pops, right? So they're still all about Undertaker. Soon as you see it's Ted DiBiase leave, the crowd they're just not buying it. As soon as they see it's Ted DiBiase's Undertaker, they're not buying it. Brian Lee here is being way too robotic.
Yes.
In this match, he's more so a robot than the dead man. Even the real Undertaker isn't that bad or like that static in the ring. So he's kind of overdoing it now. You can really tell he's trying to play a character rather than be a character. And there's a big difference. He hits the choke slam, but falls to his knees with the choke slam. The real Undertaker doesn't do that. So I thought that was weird. And then he goes into the crucifixion after the choke slam. And usually that's just after the tombstone. So these little things, I know I'm not the only fan picking up on. You know the Undertaker's fucking shit up because it's not the real Undertaker. So I didn't think it was very good at all. Quite a drastic difference from like the first appearance or two we've seen of Brian Lee as Undertaker. So yeah, I'm kind of off the gimmick train. Never to say that I was really on the gimmick train, but I kind of was convinced at first. So yeah, no thanks. No thanks to the Leslie Nielsen thing. He's like in front of green screens around the world. And you know what? It just contributes to the whole angle being a joke. Like now that it's like a comedy thing. Because now they're incorporating this comedy guy that's pretty much what he's known for, as like the main lead detective on the case. Like, okay, well, then we know where this is going.
Yeah.
And don't forget all the vignettes leading up to this fucking feud and just the whole ridiculousness of it. It's just bad wrestle crap, and I'm just ready for it to be over, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this enhancement match did far worse
Completely.
than anything that they could have done. I feel you would want him to wrestle very minimally on television before going to the big pay-per-view, but really exposed him here in a bad way. Vince McMahon talks about the possibility of Lex Luger selling out to Ted DiBiase, and he'll be in action next. But before that, excuse me, footage from WWF Superstars from this past weekend where Luger told Shawn Michaels on Heartbreak Hotel that he hasn't sold out to DiBiase is shown. Of course, Luger is tricked into admitting to meeting DiBiase, and that DiBiase had, in fact, offered Luger a very lucrative offer, and Luger didn't appreciate the questioning by Michaels. Before the next match, during Luger's entrance, DiBiase followed Luger to ringside, but leaves after Luger tells him to apparently go backstage. So
it was an awkward interaction though.
Yeah,
because I couldn't really tell what they were going for, and maybe that was the point. But it was really awkward.
It seemed like DiBiase was going for a last minute pitch or something before he went out there to wrestle, but it didn't really flow very well. This whole dynamic is not connecting very well, I would say.
Right. I agree.
Let's go to our second contest. It's Lex Luger against Chad Miller. Luger gets the easy win following a running forearm smash. During the bout, DiBiase talked about Lex Luger and stirred up rumors that Luger had, in fact, sold out to him. I don't know, man. There's some stuff that's going on really good here in WWF at this time, but we arguably just got back-to-back segments that are complete opposite of what we had last week. We had a bad fake Taker match, and now focusing on a relatively weak and poor structured Luger Tatanka feud, and the matches weren't very good. So what did you think of Luger here showcasing his skills leading into SummerSlam?
Well, real quick, of course, I have to mention leading into this match, we did get a Razor Ramon Ico Pro ad. You know what? There's big USA chance, but I'll tell you what. Lex just doesn't look impressive. He uses the forearm to win, why he's not using the rack, I don't know. Why do you have to use the cheat forearm to beat this enhancement guy? I don't like that. I don't like the full spotlight pose down that he got after the match, as if he just won the main event of WrestleMania. That was a fucking joke, and I literally have written down, "Give me a break." Like, come on.
Yeah.
This looks ridiculous. I like that Savage says here that he can't think of anything he hates more than Ted's laugh. I think that's probably a fair point, because Ted's in every fucking segment laughing, so I'm getting pretty sick of it too, Macho Man. And we did get a little of a picture-in-picture here with Ted counting the money backstage. He says he's been talking with Lex, and as Bob pointed out, told him he didn't have to worry about anything moving forward. I don't, again, with Ted DiBiase's coalition, what does he call it? Corporation, yeah. With Ted DiBiase's group here, it's too much of a land of the misfit toys. Like, in no way do I see Lex meshing with that group. So really, I don't buy into the did Lex sell out thing. Like, I don't buy into it. Nothing that Lex has done has made me believe that he might have. So I don't know where they're trying to drive the storyline from. Because it's not like we haven't seen the story through the eyes of Tatanka. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We have seen Lex just being like, no, I'm not with him. Like, go away. Not like Tatanka keeps catching him in the act. I think if we keep catching him in the act, maybe we can believe it. But since we know he's not doing it, first of all, it makes Tatanka look like a fucking idiot.
Well, I'm thinking maybe that's where the heat is. Maybe Tatanka is supposed to look like he's delusional. And that's really where the heat's intended. Because if that is the case, I could maybe get into it.
Oh, yeah. If that's the case, I totally believe it. But if that's the case, then what? I guess they're painting Tatanka as the heel and Lex as the face?
Right. That's how I would.
But the way
kind
they're
of interpret
writing it, it's not like that.
No. Right.
So it's just mixed signals. It doesn't work. I'm not interested. They're not going to have a good match. So I don't know. I think I hate to say it, but it's another misfire for Lex Luger. It really is.
I'm telling you, ever since he came out of the narcissist gimmick, it's been nothing but misfire after misfire, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's go into the SummerSlam 1994 report with Todd Pettingill. Todd announces the complete card for SummerSlam, and I will go through that list right now. Undertaker against The Undertaker will be the main event. WWF World Champion Bret Hart defending against Owen Hart inside a steel cage. WWF Intercontinental Champion Diesel defending against Razor Ramon. Walter Payton, the legendary Chicago Bears running back, will be at ringside for Razor Ramon to combat Shawn Michaels. Of course, this show is taking place in Chicago, so that kind of makes sense for the connection. Lex Luger will be squaring off against Tatanka. WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze defending against Bull Nakano. And here's a new one. Mabel will be in singles action against Jeff Jarrett.
So fuck them for that.
So for the past 2 months, 1, 2, 3 kid Jeff Jarrett having a TV feud.
Son of a bitch.
Instead of that, we're gonna go with Mabel.
No, fuck off with that
makes
bullshit.
No sense.
No.
Out of everybody to switch it with, you go with Mabel. Who I don't know if there's anybody more opposite of 1, 2, 3 kid than Mabel. Just unbelievable. When I saw that, you had to be kidding me.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck? Where is this shit coming from? The pay-per-view? Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck?
And there's one final match. It is the WWF World Tag Team Champions, the Head Shrinkers, defending against Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS. Which, again, makes virtually no sense because Bigelow and IRS, I don't believe, had teamed up.
No.
Prior to even this show. IRS, last I knew, hadn't even formally joined the corporation. And somehow they are the number one contenders for the championships.
Dude, what a bunch of fucking bullshit those last couple of matches are. Are you shitting me?
Yeah. So I'll tell you right now, though, based off the card that is provided here, I'm interested in 3 matches going in. Bret Owen, Diesel Razor, Blaze Nakano, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And then from there, who the fuck knows what we'll get.
I know. And I don't like that.
No.
Because we got to get through all that bullshit first. And don't forget, Undertaker versus Undertaker's the goddamn main event.
Yep.
I just
feel
no
matter what, it'll be the last match.
Have you ever seen the commercial where the old man's like fishing and he's got the dollar on you got to be quicker than that. That's what I feel like they just did with SummerSlam. Like, the dollars, and it's like we can almost get it. And then they announce the full card and he fucking pulls the dollar away. It's like, motherfucker. I was so close to having what I wanted. Damn it. It definitely should have been 1, 2, 3 kid 1, 2, 3 kid Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
And realistically, I would have liked to see like Head Shrinkers smoking guns.
I'm saying Head Shrinkers Heavenly Bodies.
Yeah.
And if you have that, I can deal with the other 2 garbage matches and have the other 6 or whatever be likely entertaining.
Dude, yeah, that would have been fucking awesome.
But unfortunately, we did not get that. Yeah. Let's go right into our third contest of the evening. It's Bam Bam Bigelow teaming up with IRS for, I think, the first time ever against Tatanka and Doink. So you have a guy obsessed with fire, a taxman, a Native American, and a clown.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
If this isn't WWF 94, I don't know what is.
God damn it.
But here's a rundown of the match. IRS and Tatanka start off the contest. IRS knee lifts Tatanka and connects with the back elbow, and he's standing elbow drop for a 2 count. IRS misses a splash in the corner, and Tatanka chops away on him, followed by a hip toss and drop kick. Tatanka sends IRS hard back first into the corner, and he grabs IRS by the tie. Or as Bobby Heenan said, he's grabbing him by the tongue. Tatanka flips IRS over by yanking on the tie, and he clotheslines the taxman for a 2 count. Doink tags in, leaps off the middle rope with a double axe handle. IRS hip tosses Doink, but Doink comes back with a scoop slam. Doink misses an elbow drop coming off the ropes, and Bigelow is tagged in. Doink drop toe holds Bigelow and avoids a spin kick. Doink delivers a series of elbow drops and gets a 2 count. Doink locks in an armbar and wrenches on Bigelow's arm for a few moments. Tatanka tags back in and leaps off the top with an axe handle to Bigelow's arm. Tatanka wrenches on Bigelow's arm with an armbar. Bigelow shoulder blocks Tatanka, but misses a clothesline. Tatanka with a crossbody, and he gets a 2 count. Tatanka clotheslines Bigelow a few more times, and he knocks Bigelow down for a 2 count. Bigelow dumps Tatanka to the floor, and IRS attacks Tatanka as Raw goes to a commercial. Tatanka sunset flips IRS for a near fall, but IRS quickly recovers, and Tatanka is clotheslined by IRS and Bigelow as Doink is distracted by the referee. IRS covers, but only manages to get a 2 count on Tatanka. IRS controls Tatanka with a sleeper hold in the middle of the ring. Tatanka battles to his feet, and he elbows out of the sleeper, but is double teamed in the corner. Bigelow back elbows Tatanka, and both men look for a crossbody as they collide in the middle of the ring. IRS and Doink get tags, and Doink hammerways on IRS. Doink back elbows IRS and connects with a snap power slam for a 2 count. Tatanka is distracting the referee, and Bigelow is able to kick Doink on the back of the head. IRS nails Doink with a lariat, and he pins Doink to win the match. After the match, Tatanka checks on Doink, and he stalks towards IRS as IRS shoves him. Bigelow tosses Doink to the floor, and Tatanka is attacked by IRS and Bigelow. Lex Luger runs down to the ring, and he chases the heels away. Ted DiBiase enters the ring and has a handful of cash for Luger. DiBiase puts the money in Luger's hand, and Tatanka backs into Luger, causing Luger to drop the money. And Tatanka sees that, and he quickly assumes that Luger has sold out. I knew it. See, I knew it. Bigelow actually comes in and breaks up a possible fight. Has Luger officially turned heel? Well, of course not. But in Tatanka's mind, he most certainly has. What did you think of the match, and what did you think of the aftermath, Austin?
So here's the thing, right? So Doink and Dink come down. They're squirting the guys with the flour. They're shaking their ass at him. And then Tatanka comes out and has no problem teaming with a clown and a little person clown. Yep. If that doesn't set the stage for this match, I don't know what does. Because to be honest, I had my phone out a couple times during this match because it was not keeping my attention. I mean, I knew it doesn't mean shit. IRS and Doink are getting hot tags. So, it is what it is.
When Doink gets the hot tag and IRS begs off, I kind of chuckled.
Oh, my God.
He backed off like, no. And I was just like, come on, man. Doink is not on that level.
Oh, give me a fucking break. And I'll tell you what, if Bam Bam and IRS, regardless of them never teaming and really have no backstory of being a team, if they didn't win, that would have been such bullshit, dude. Like, that would have been pathetic. I have to say, though, maybe much to Bob's chagrin, I think the way they did the Lex Money thing was okay.
That was okay. That was.
I thought it came off decent, and it kind of, like, I could kind of see where Tatanka would think, holy shit, Ted just gave him the money right out here in front of everybody. So that I didn't mind. I didn't think it was horrible.
Well, because that's the first concrete potential thing of him being like, I knew you did it.
Yes.
Instead of just not believing his words. There's actual action to go with it.
Exactly. So I didn't mind that. I also liked that Bam Bam is the one kind of keeping Lex at bay, as if, oh my God, what is Bam Bam, his friend? Like, he's talking to him, he's calming him down. Like, I liked that part of it too. But again, I just feel like it's such mixed signals. Like, who's the bad guy? Like, I don't know. I don't feel like WWF knows. Are either of them bad guys? Are they both in the wrong? Like, who the fuck knows?
Well, obviously DiBiase is the bad guy in the grand scheme of things, but between Luger and Tatanka, it's like, who is really?
I know.
Who are you supposed to interpret as being the true heel? I think that's a very valid point.
And maybe that's the appeal of it, but at the same time, I'm kind of against stuff like that.
I think in this instance, I think you want a clear cut.
You don't want to confuse people.
No. So. There's no confusion on what we'll see next week. A video promoting next week's featured match on Raw is going to be between the 1-2-3 Kid and Owen Hart.
Fuck out of that.
And you'll recall they had a really good 3-minute match.
Yeah.
At King of the Ring. So who knows what kind of quality they'll put out next week on Raw.
Yep.
Well, speaking of Owen Hart, he's actually involved in the next segment. Jerry Lawler is in the ring for another edition of King's Court, and he introduces guests Owen Hart. Of course, Jim Neidhart is with Owen for this interview. Owen talks about being a little boy and being picked on by WWF World Champion Bret Hart. He says that as he got older, Bret ran away from him in fear. Owen has motivation to defeat Bret Hart, and that is the WWF World Championship. Owen really wishes that Jim was his older brother. He brings up beating Bret at WrestleMania 10 and winning the 1994 King of the Ring tournament. Owen announces that at SummerSlam he will have the whole family supporting him at the pay-per-view. Lawler chimes in and says that he has a family member who isn't behind Owen. And that brings out Bruce Hart.
And really quick, before we get to Bruce, I thought this promo from Owen was rather weak. Because it kind of made him sound like a little snot-nosed kid. And like that he really isn't a threat to Bret Hart. I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't think he came off threatening to Bret. Because he basically said, yeah, Bret's kind of been better than me my whole life. He kind of admitted it.
Yeah, but now he's not, and he's proven that by beating him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't like. I didn't enjoy Owen's promo here, and that's the first time I've said that. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't like the way he went about this one.
Well, let's see how Bruce takes this, because the legendary Bruce Hart, who has begged for jobs, who thinks that he would main event the Garden and sell it out, is out in this maybe 1,500 seat arena to confront Owen Hart. Bruce tells Owen that no one is on Owen's side at SummerSlam. And he says that Owen betrayed them at Survivor Series, cheated at WrestleMania, which I don't believe is accurate, and needed Jim to win the King of the Ring. Bruce calls Owen a disgrace and believes Owen is going to be a crybaby following the cage match. Jim Neidhart says that Bruce is the jealous brother. Bruce cuts in and says Jim is the jealous one for 8 years because Bret carried the Hart Foundation. And Bruce tells Owen that he doesn't deserve any respect.
Bruce Hart ripped Anvil and Owen Hart a new asshole. Bruce Hart had the people fucking going nuts with what the shit he was saying. He was cutting Owen off and Anvil off at every turn and being like, no, fuck you guys. And here's why. And the crowd was popping huge for the shit that Bruce was saying. I sat there and I was like, first of all, there's no way that his shit is scripted because he's just flying off the handle at that point. He's like Lawler's trying to keep like the peace and like he's cutting Lawler off and Lawler's a heel. So he's like cutting Lawler off. He's cutting Owen off. It got to the point where Owen and Anvil just weren't saying anything. They were just letting Bruce go off. And it was so bad that it was like they had to like fade to a New Generation commercial. Because Bruce was just going fucking ham on him. It was great. I loved it. And it's funny too, because like Owen was like so distraught. He came off like more of a psycho as the promo went on because he started to get out of breath as he tried to talk back to Bruce. Like he was like exacerbated. And it was just without Bruce, I think that segment would have flopped, which is amazing. Bruce Hart fucking sold it for me. And he came off legitimately pissed. Like, Owen, you're a piece of shit. Everybody in the family knows. And fuck Anvil, he shouldn't even be here. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? So I think that was fabulous.
I think Bruce probably has some legitimate anger towards Owen for maybe stealing his spot.
Probably. Yeah.
I gotta admit, I would be intrigued to see how Bruce Hart would handle WWF from 1994.
Oh God. Can you imagine?
In the upper mid card working with Bret every night. How many times he would try to win the WWF World Championship?
No.
You have no idea. You never know.
No.
Somebody get Bruce Hart right now and send him to AEW.
Oh God damn it. Don't give him any ideas.
You never know.
He'll show up in his black fucking leather jacket and black sunglasses.
It's a new thing.
Yeah.
What's old is new again.
There you go.
Speaking of what is old is new again. It's our main event. It's Bob Backlund. The man who he will not forget stuff from 10 years ago. So if you try to screw him over, he will never forget it. He is on a mission to regain the WWF World Championship that he never lost some 10 years ago. And he was taking on Kevin Kruger. Of course, throughout this match, fans are chanting that we want Brett. And kind of hilariously, Kevin Kruger is like eating it up as if they're talking about him, but they're not.
Yeah. And one of my favorite parts is the crowd shot. We got a Why Bob Why sign in the crowd.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He's told us why. We are well aware as to why he's doing this.
Not only that, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, at this point. It's been 10 years, Bob. Let it go.
Yeah.
Pretty much what you would expect from Bob Backlund. He wins the match with a chicken wing submission. After the match, he stares at his hands. Lunatic Bob Backlund is in full effect.
I really didn't have any notes for this. He won with a chicken wing. Again, I gotta be honest. Though his promo was okay last week, as soon as that bell rings, I'm checked out. I don't give a fuck. So that kind of sucks that seemingly Bob Backlund's going to be in a featured spot moving forward. So I don't know. As Bob looks off camera and flirts with his girlfriend.
I'm not flirting with her at all.
Oh, okay. You probably have your pants off.
I do not. It's fine. Bob Backlund, I'm telling you, I'm back on the train of Bob Backlund.
Get the fuck
have a
outta
main
here.
event, WrestleMania 11.
I don't want to hear this bullshit.
Let's do it, man.
Absolutely fucking not. Get him out
Let's
of here.
go with the Bob Backlund train.
No.
I'm
Give me
full
fake
steam.
Taker.
Fake
Give me
Taker
fake
against
Taker.
a babyface Bob Backlund.
Dude, fucking book it 95. Let's go.
That should have been the booking meeting in January of '93. They should have been like, all right, what's our plan for April of '95?
Yeah.
And then Vince is probably like, okay, well, there's this guy in Smoky Mountain, Brian Lee. Okay, looks like the Undertaker. I figured in about a year and a half, put him on TV. And you see Bob Backlund. I know he's like, stale and old right now. But what if, like a year and a half from now,
What's old is new again.
what is old is new again? You have him go lunatic. He'll stare at his hands.
Yeah.
People will eat it up. And then like people are probably like, how do we get to a fake Undertaker Bob Backlund match? And he'll be like, it doesn't matter. It'll tell you.
You ever seen Fruit Roll-Ups, how they got the tattoos on them? You just stick those on Undertaker's arms. The fake Undertaker looks like the real thing.
It's perfect.
Right? Who cares? Just do it. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck Bob Backlund and fuck the fake Undertaker. That's what I say.
Fuck this episode.
Ooh, okay. All right.
So far, come on. That's pretty much what we have here.
You ain't getting no arguments out of me, motherfucker.
No. Vince McMahon and Randy Savage hype up next week's show, which will see the 1-2-3 Kid against Owen Hart. And then Jerry Lawler will have Ted DiBiase and Paul Bearer on another edition of King's Court. Because, of course, let's focus on the two feuds that no one seems to care about. We go backstage before the end of the program. Lex Luger storms into Ted DiBiase's locker room where Nikolai Volkov is hanging out. Tatanka eventually enters as well, and he calls Luger a turncoat, and they shove each other as the show comes to an end.
Dude, hold the fucking phone. I was laughing my ass off at this shit. So Lex fucking barges in, right? It's an empty ass room with a little like massage table in the middle. And who the fuck's standing there with like a pressed fucking like tuxedo t-shirt? Nikolai fucking Volkov turns around and is like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Like, what the fuck is he doing in there?
You're part of the corporation, man.
He's like, he doesn't even register that Lex is fucking pissed. He keeps talking, sit down, come on in, sit down. And Lex is like, I don't want to fucking hear. He's like screaming at him.
Yeah.
And Volkov is, hey, what's going on, buddy? Come on. And he's still holding the fucking t-shirt fucking pressed on a hanger. I was dying at that shit. I was, at that moment, dude, I was a Nikolai fucking Volkov fan. I was in. That this dude has not only accepted his role as the corporation, he's like pressing Ted DiBiase shit and he's happy about it. He's like doing corporation chores. And he's like happy-go-lucky, like, oh, I can feed my family. I don't care. Come on in, Lex. Like, who gives a shit? Then Tatanka comes fucking barging in. And then it's just a shit show. So like Bob says, they're shoving each other. Tatanka's like, oh, I knew I could catch you in here. And I think Lex finally snaps. He's like, you know what? I've had enough. And then he like shoves him even harder. And then it's just like it fades to black. So that little finishing segment was probably one of my favorite things on the show. I did really like the Bruce Hart thing too, though.
Bruce Hart thing was good, yeah.
Yeah. As far as action, this week sucked a dick. All the action you ever wanted was in last week's episode. So if that's what you're tuning in for, make sure to go watch last week's episode of Monday Night Raw. But this episode, man, was quite a fall from what we had. If that was the new generation on display, this sure was not. Just too much Ted again. Like, I feel like it's such overkill. I'm so over it. I have no investment into this fucking angle at all. I could care less whether or not at this point Lex buys in or sells out, either way. And I think the inclusion of Tatanka is making me hate it even more. So, I don't know. I don't think it was a great week of Raw, especially being even closer to SummerSlam like we are now. And I don't know. I mean, did we even get a featured match for next week?
Yeah, next week is 1-2-3 Kid against Owen Hart.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, hey, hopefully maybe it's like a hot and cold sort of thing. They don't want to burn us out too quick. So they're like, here's a hot episode of Raw. Here's a not so.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have put like Nakano and Blaze on this.
Yeah, to break it up.
Make it more worthwhile, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because really, I mean, other than, well, realistically, you probably could have skipped this one. I kind of think the Bruce thing's important because it does show that Owen is delusional and like making shit up and lying about the family. So like maybe that's worth it. But other than that, action wise, I mean, unless you really want to see the Village people fight in Doink the Clown, IRS, Bam Bam, and fucking whoever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there really wasn't much to sift through here. Hence why this episode is literally 46 minutes in.
I was just gonna say, like, if you're wondering why maybe this is a short episode, there's only so many times that we can say the same things over and over again in an episode, or regarding the same feuds before you're just kind of getting blue in the face. So it's one of these examples where we might be jipping you a little bit, but I'm sure that next week with Owen and 1-2-3 and certainly the Sunday Night Slam, which has several matches of maybe some importance on there, that we won't be jipping you on those ones.
Well, that one itself is like over 2 hours, isn't it?
I think it's a 2-hour special, yeah.
Yeah. Do we have the card announced for that? Or was that something we will get in the coming weeks?
I don't know if we get one next week. I can look it up real quick and let you know what is on the show.
Yeah, I would like to know.
In 2 weeks' time. I don't think there's anything on there that would necessarily spoil anything.
I can't imagine so. Or I mean, we're only a week away. So yeah, and I think just to kind of round out this episode, yeah, I think hearing the card and maybe breaking that down a little bit would be a good idea. I'm putting Bob on the spot here, folks.
Yeah, the Google machine is, of course, kind of slowing me down here a little bit.
Well, and I'll tell you what, kind of touching on Google, ever since we've kind of hopped over to the Skype train, I feel like it's been pretty okay.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while we get a little worried that the episodes aren't going to download because they kind of like stall out for a little while. But I would say for the most part, I think this has kind of been going pretty well. So hopefully the audio sounds just as good. I listened to an episode recently and it sounded fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, let us know either way. We'll see what we can do. But I think we're on the right track.
Okay, so here's a little rundown for it. I know that we're technically like 2 weeks away from it, but you know, we don't want to jip you guys out on too much stuff here. This actually was taped on August 1st. At the Youngstown, Ohio. So in terms of this taping, it was actually taped alongside that, which is interesting.
Interesting.
I'll just mention maybe the higher profile matches. I won't do the whole card. But we have a WWF Intercontinental Champion Diesel squaring off against Typhoon in a non-title match.
Oh, no. No.
We have Bull Nakano against Heidi Lee Morgan, who was another substitute for Alundra Blaze.
Okay.
Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS teaming up to take on Sparky Plug and 123 Kid.
Son of a bitch.
And it looks like I guess you could say main event, or I don't know how they have it ordered, but Lex Luger in singles action against Crush.
Okay, so maybe you should have kept it a surprise.
Yeah.
Because fuck, man, I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, because like historically, usually the lead-in shows are sometimes better than the pay-per-views.
That's what we had ran into previously, sure.
Yeah, so fuck. The wind just came right out of my sails with that one.
Well, maybe you'll forget about it before we get to that.
Yeah, maybe, because we tend to forget very quickly here on IcoPod.
Like you forgot that Owen Hart and 123 Kid was next week.
Literally, yeah. Why are we still trying to mix Lex and Crush together? Like, why is that?
Well, I mean, they did. I feel like on television they never had the closure from King of the Ring.
Thank God.
The King of the Ring qualifying and at the actual pay-per-view. It was mostly just house shows. So I could see that as being a way to maybe write off Crush, because Crush has not been used frequently at all. I feel like we haven't seen Yokozuna since King of the Ring.
Very infrequent. Yeah, very infrequent. And we talked about it before. Crush just needs to be completely repackaged.
Absolutely.
He needs to be totally scrapped and started over from the beginning. So, that kind of threw me for a loop, that one. Let me ask you this. Is Yokozuna even on that?
No.
That spectacular? Okay. Okay. So, I mean, that's kind of not spelling too well for Yokozuna either.
Yeah, I don't know what he's up to.
Maybe it's
we can have a line for that.
Yeah, and maybe it's better that they cool him off for a little while. Maybe it is.
I think taking him off television wouldn't hurt.
Right.
Make the fans maybe forget all the bullshit that he's been doing.
That's probably not a bad idea, to be honest. I don't get the pairing of 123 Kid fucking Sparky Plug.
It blows my mind how they can have him have such a great match with Brett, and now you're teaming him up with a race car driver.
It's almost like, hey, we got stuff for you, but we don't have anything for you. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's like, you're great, fans love you, but
here's this.
We just don't want to push you.
Yeah,
it just blows my mind.
Yeah, so that definitely kind of sucks. Again, I'm super disappointed that we're not getting 123 Kid Jeff Jarrett at the pay-per-view. I feel like that's a no-brainer.
But he's on the Sunday Night Slam. I know it's taped and everything, but
yeah,
come on, it's being presented a week before. I don't know. The whole this just blows my mind.
Yeah, I don't get the logic behind that. And really, have we even seen much of Mabel lately? I know we just got an enhancement match maybe
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, but at the same time, they've kind of cooled him off too.
If I had to guess, I feel like if the cage match isn't main eventing, it's gonna that match will be the buffer between Undertaker and Undertaker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right. Maybe they're anticipating the cage match being phenomenal.
Right.
You'll need a cool down match for your obviously not great main event. So.
No, yeah, absolutely. Unless, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I'm interested to see where they put the women's match. Because I think that'll kind of play a big factor in that match.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of interested to see where that falls. And honestly, man, this Undertaker versus Undertaker thing, if it's any longer than 10 minutes, it's going to be a fucking disaster. And I think 10 minutes is being real generous. But I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to go longer than that. And I'm really, really not looking forward to it.
I'm hoping for 45 minutes.
I think that's what we're going to get, realistically.
If they both work at the snail's pace of a dead man, it should be
a robot.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It sucks because SummerSlam could have been way better than it was on paper, and now it's such a mixed bag. And I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, they've had plenty of time to produce a better card.
Yeah,
better matches, and it's not. I don't think this is at SummerSlam levels of what it should be.
no, it's like way too much of curveballs thrown in. Like again, they've led us up believing one thing, and then it's like, oh, fuck you, Jeff Jarrett Mabel. It's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Here's Bigelow and IRS who've never tagged before.
No, like, come on, man.
Did you know that IRS was part of the corporation? Well, he is now.
Yeah, we didn't know, but here he is.
We totally forgot that he has an alliance with DiBiase dating back 3 years. It's fine. Here you go.
Yeah. So, I just kind of disappointed with the full card announcement and pretty disappointed with the lead-in to SummerSlam. Although, not that you would know, Bob, but why is SummerSlam taking place on a Monday night?
I don't know. It happened. I want to say that's happened at least 2 or 3 years in a row. Like last year, it was on a Monday.
Yeah.
I guess that was just a tradition for it.
It's weird. It's really weird. I wonder if that affects buy rate on a Monday night. I'd have to think so.
I would have to think it would.
Yeah.
But
regardless, I mean, and not to drone on here, but I think watching it live with you, with the backstory and the lead up, I think will be very beneficial. So I think maybe, will it jade our watching of it? It might, because normally when we would take notes, we're pretty fucking honest with shit.
Yeah.
And we kind of have time to process it too. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It might be even a mixed bag for us a little bit. So I am interested. I haven't seen anything from SummerSlam 94 in a very long time. I think the only match I've ever seen is the Owen Brett match. Mm-hmm. I know for sure I've never watched Undertaker versus Undertaker, although I am familiar with the feud. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. One definitely not to miss.
Yeah, this is a show. SummerSlam is a show I saw like on VHS when I rented it from Wegmans, and I don't believe I've watched it since it's been on the network. So I'm looking at easily 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
since I've seen the whole show, but I have seen the whole show. But of course, that was in the eyes of like a 13-year-old or 11-year-old or whatever it was. So.
Right.
It's been a long time. And I certainly haven't seen it with previous context of the builds.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will be a whole new experience in itself.
Yeah. So we're both pretty fresh on watching it then.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
You got anything else for this edition of IcoPod, Austin?
I wish I did. I think the only thing else that I wanted to cover is, again, if you're a new listener, thanks for downloading us. Share us around. We're still trying to kind of spread the word. We're kind of a mom and pop hobby podcast, as you might have noticed. Did you hear any ads? No, you did not. Domino's does not deliver IcoPod. So give us a like, give us a share, spread the word to any of your fellow cohorts who might enjoy early 90s coverage, because realistically, I'd rather watch this shit than current shit on WWF TV. Well, WWF, yeah, I wish. WWE TV now. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're an old school fan, if you know old school fans, get them in. Tell them to join up.
Yeah, and then, of course, send in any kind of feedback or your thoughts on maybe what was going on at the time. And if you're following along with us, let us know how you feel about it when we go to SummerSlam and we're done with that. If you want to watch it as well and throw in your comments, you can send them early, and then I can make sure that they're on that show as well. But if that's all you got, Austin, for Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Downey Jr., and this has been IcoPod.
You gotta hear it.